Hello, this is Peter. Welcome to another episode, Get a Better Broadcast Podcast and Voice Over Voice. These daily tips to, well, as it says on the can, get a better broadcast, podcast and voice over voice. Daily help, advice, anecdotes from my career either side of the mic, both as a presenter and a studio producer as well. Welcome to today's programme. We're looking, aren't we, at different problems that you or someone you work with that you've got responsibility for, maybe a friend, maybe a colleague, maybe a colleague that, as I say, you're trying to manage. And we're looking at those problems and how you can perhaps learn to get over them, the kind of advice you can give yourself or to give to that other person. Today, Uptalk. Yeah, most sentences end on a lower inflection than how they start. It gives the listener a signal that the end of the thought has been reached. The end of the thought has been reached. Yeah, so I've gone down there at the end of the sentence. You don't want to necessarily go down at the end of every sentence because that would make it sound rather monotonous. And we've spoken about that kind of thing before, particularly, and I did it then for effect, particularly if you pause just before the final word and then you just drop that final word quite deep, quite low, quite forced, quite hard and sharp. Yeah, and we've spoken before, haven't we, about people who do something similar with the last three words of a sentence. And very often you can see people do that when they're reporting on the TV news. Very often they do that when they're out in the field. They may be at the scene of something. They're at the scene of a fire, scene of an event, and the last three words of a sentence are always dropped, just like that. But anyway, we're talking about uptalk rather than downtalk. So, yes, some sentences end with a rising inflection. Do you agree? There's an example there. So, usually in the English speaking world, we usually go up at the end of a sentence if we're showing a question. We're asking somebody a direct question. Yeah? Like that again. So it could just be one word, a one-word question. Uptalkers, though, use a rising inflection no matter what the sense of the sentence. Like that. And to me, I feel really awkward, even though I did it myself and I knew what I was going to do, going up at the end of a sentence, because to me it sounds really awkward unless you're asking a question. Oh! It can give the impression that you're doubtful of what you're saying, or that you lack confidence or intelligence. Yeah? And it can be annoying very often to a lot of people a lot of the time. Again, if you're talking to an audience that speaks in this way, then you're likely to connect with them if it also comes naturally to you. Otherwise, ending a sentence formally on a downturn shows confidence. More on this, episodes 190 and 315. Look at the correct question intonation. And you can get more on that on Get a Better Broadcast Podcast and Voice Over Voice. Back tomorrow with more help and advice. I'm Peter Stewart. And more Get a Better Broadcast Podcast Voice Over Voice from London. I'm Peter Stewart.